Have you ever seen a mother ban her own daughter from Thanksgiving dinner? Not because of a fight, but because the daughter's job wasn't prestigious enough to show off to guests. 5 days before the holiday, my daughter called with a simple message. Your granddaughter is bringing her wealthy boyfriend to meet the family. She doesn't want you there. Your blue-collar teaching job would embarrass her. I said, I understand, and hung up. What my family didn't know was that I'd been quietly controlling a $15 million inheritance, the exact money my perfect granddaughter was counting on for her dream wedding. And when they discovered the truth 5 days later and came pounding on my door in panic, the tables turned in ways none of us expected. My name is Jasmine Whittaker, 75 years old. This is that story. The call came on Sunday, November 24th at exactly 6:47 p.m. I was sitting in my apartment grading papers on the Progressive Era when my daughter Patricia's name lit up my phone screen. Jasmine, we need to talk about Thanksgiving. I set down my red pen. In the Mitchell family, we need to talk never preceded good news. What about it? I asked. Well, a pause. The kind of pause that comes before a blow wrapped in silk. Vivian is bringing Derek to meet the family. You know how important this is. Derek Hartwell. I'd heard the name hundreds of times in the past few months. CEO of Hartwell Capital, managing over $400 million. Vivian's ticket to the life she'd always believed she deserved. That's great, I said, and I meant it. Despite everything, I wanted my granddaughter to be happy. I'm looking forward to meeting him. Another pause, longer this time. That's actually what I wanted to discuss. Vivian feels that, well, she thinks it might be better if you weren't there this year. The words landed like stones in still water. I watched the ripples spread through my chest, familiar and cold. I'm sorry. It's nothing personal, Mom. It's just Derek comes from a very particular world. Finance, investments, and your career choice might send the wrong message. My career choice. As if I had stumbled into teaching by accident, rather than fighting for my certification while working 2 jobs. I had a master's degree in education and had been teaching for over 40 years. Mom, I have decades of experience. I've been department chair. I've shaped hundreds of young minds. Exactly, her tone shifted as if I'd just proved her point. Derek needs to see that the family is compatible with his world. I thought about last Thanksgiving, the way my daughter had introduced me to guests. This is Jasmine, my mother. She teaches. That pause heavy with unspoken disappointment, while Vivian, the marketing director, received proud announcements. I thought about the email she'd sent months ago requesting my contribution to Vivian's engagement party. Since you don't have as many expenses, I'm sure you can contribute a bit more. I transferred the money without protest. Mom, I said carefully, I could come after dinner just to say hello. Vivian was very clear, she doesn't want you there at all. Please don't make this difficult for me, Jasmine. Don't make this difficult for me, as if I were the one wielding the knife. I looked around my apartment, the one bedroom I'd called home for years. The bookshelves overflowing with history texts, the small kitchen where I still packed lunches out of habit. This was the life that embarrassed them. I understand, I said. The words came out automatically, worn smooth by decades of practice. I hung up and sat in silence, watching the last light fade from my window. For the first time in years, when I went to bed that night, I didn't cry. I felt something else entirely, a hollow space where my patience used to be. And somewhere in that emptiness, something new was beginning to grow. The phone call replayed in my mind throughout the next day. I stood in front of my class, explaining the causes of the Great Depression, while Patricia's voice echoed beneath every word. Your career choice might send the wrong message. I taught my students about economic collapse and systemic inequities, yet my own family considered my life's work a source of shame. That night I calculated the stakes of silence. If I accepted this exclusion, what came next? Easter, Christmas, future milestones happening without me, I would become a ghost in my own family. But the financial stakes were real too. My daughter had already set the precedent of extracting money from me whenever convenient. If I remained silent, the requests would only grow larger. Around 9 p.m., my phone buzzed. A text from my son-in-law Harold. "Sweetheart, I'm sorry about Thanksgiving. Your daughter says it's for the best. I love you." I stared at those words for a long time. Harold had never once stood up for me, but he always said he loved me, as if love without action meant anything at all. I didn't respond. Instead, I opened my laptop. There was a folder I hadn't touched in months, labeled simply Grandma Aliner. Inside was an email from Margaret Caldwell, attorney at law. My mother-in-law Aliner had died 2 years ago at 85. She was the only person in my family who had truly seen me. When I got my first teaching job, she had taken me to dinner and told me she was proud. When I confided my frustrations about feeling invisible, she had taken my hand and said, "Jasmine, you're not invisible. You're just surrounded by people who have forgotten how to see." I hadn't understood what she'd done for me until after she was gone. I clicked on Margaret's email. The Aliner Mitchell Irrevocable Trust currently holds assets valued at over $15 million. As sole trustee, you have full discretionary authority. Vivian was the sole beneficiary. I was the sole trustee, the person who controlled when, how, and whether that money ever reached her hands. My mother-in-law had made that choice deliberately. She told me in one of our last conversations, "Vivian isn't bad, Jasmine. She's just never had to learn the value of anything. I want you to teach her." I had kept this secret for 2 years. But now, freshly exiled from Thanksgiving dinner because my teaching career might embarrass my granddaughter in front of her wealthy boyfriend, I began to reconsider. Not revenge, but boundaries. Accountability, the right to exist in my own family without apologizing for who I had become. Thanksgiving Day arrived gray and cold. I woke at 7 out of habit. I made coffee and tried not to think about the family gathering happening without me. By evening, I had accepted that no amount of productivity could fill the hollow space in my chest. At 8:47 p.m., my phone lit up, a text from Vivian with a photo attached. "Thanks for understanding, Grandma. Derek loved the dinner. He said our family is so put together." The image showed my entire family seated around the table, 4 place settings, no empty chair where I should have been. I studied the photo more closely. My daughter was wearing the pearl earrings I had given her years ago, and there in the background was Aliner's silver tea service, the one she had promised me. At 9:15 p.m., another text from Harold. "Sweetheart, I'm sorry. Your daughter says this was best for everyone. I love you." I called my friend Rachel instead. She listened as I told her everything. "Jasmine, when are you going to stop letting them treat you like this?" I opened the folder again that night. For the first time in 2 years, I was ready to stop pretending this choice didn't exist. My mother-in-law had given me a key. The question was whether I was finally willing to use it. Friday morning, I called Margaret Caldwell. We met at 2 p.m. She reviewed the trust documents with me. I had broad authority to set conditions, defer distributions, and require financial readiness from Vivian. I decided to defer the annual distribution for 12 months and require Vivian to complete a certified financial management course. That evening, my family showed up at my door, my daughter Patricia, Vivian, and Harold. They had discovered the trust. They demanded I transfer control to them. I refused. The next night was the Beacon Hill Winter Charity Gala. I arrived wearing my founding donor badge. When Derek saw it, everything changed. He realized Vivian had hidden the truth from him. My daughter's perfect image began to crumble in front of Boston's elite. My mother-in-law Aliner's plan had worked. She had given me the power to teach the family the value of things. In the weeks that followed, Vivian enrolled in the course. My daughter's social standing took a hit. Harold began reaching out more genuinely. I set firm boundaries. I continued teaching because it mattered. I honored Aliner's legacy by giving thoughtfully. I learned that love without respect isn't love. It's just habit. And protecting your peace is not selfish, it's necessary. I no longer waited for a seat at their table. I built my own, and it was filled with people who saw me clearly. If your family has ever made you feel invisible or demanded you shrink yourself to fit their image, know this: you are allowed to say no. You are allowed to choose yourself. You are not powerless. You never were. Thank you for watching Hidden Truth Revenge. All characters, conflicts, and events are fictional and created only for entertainment and educational purposes.